What's up, guys? Cutter28 here with 4 Next Level Gamers, and I think I've been away for about a week now, so I'm going back into the old school here. We're going right back to my roots, and we're getting into some Ghost Recon Future Soldier. Now, this is my go-to game. I'll have to admit it here. If I'm going to pick up a shooter, this is where I'm going to play online. Call of Duty is way too fast for me, as I said in the past. This is more my pace. It's also a third person, which allows me to feel a little bit more comfortable with what I'm doing. That first person view kind of gives me, sends me for a loop every once in a while. So back into third person, back in with Ghost Recon, and as always, Booker is with me. And we have a pretty solid team here. So I like the teamwork. What do you say? You know, this is where I like to be. This is what I'm playing. I'm either doing this or Assassin's Creed. I tried a little bit of the Tomb Raider multiplayer. So you guys can definitely take a look for our review of that. It'll be up on the site hopefully shortly, as well as I'm currently working on a Sniper 2 review. So in the next week or two, expect to see those coming to our site in the review section. They'll be posted also on the main page for you to take a look, so easy to find. You'll know exactly where you're going. But like I said, back into some Ghost Recon. This is where I like to be. It's just a team-based aspect of it. It's not just a free-for-all kind of thing. There is a multiplayer mode in Sniper. I'll get into more detail about that later. Very, very limited, though, I'll tell you that. It's mostly meant for the single player, and I'm enjoying that. But when it comes to the multiplayer, it's rather slow. And like I said, so limited. It's 2 maps and 1 game mode, so... But the game is only $40. It's not a full $60 game. But anyways, like I said, we'll get into that and much more of the details for the review. Now, I also want to talk about the GDC PlayStation 4 coverage. They've got some pretty exciting things I'm starting to feel for this PlayStation 4. I like where they're taking it. It's got a nice direction as far as they're listening to, A, the developers, and B, the gamers ourselves. So right off the bat, they said they're going to have a large hard drive, which is very, very awesome considering my 80 gig, my old fat PS3, which unfortunately rests in peace now, died. So I had to purchase a 160 gig new PS3, and I am already out of space. Here I am deleting more stuff. It's when you download a full game at 18 gigs, it doesn't take long to eat up all that space. So right off the bat, they've said they're going to increase the hard drive size. So here's hoping minimum 500 gigs would be nice. We'll see what happens. 250 I don't think is enough. 250 will easily be maxed out in no time. Like I said, I got the 160, and that's by far too small still. But what do you do? I'm not going to go increase my hard drive for that when the PlayStation 4 is now just right around the corner. Also, the device, they say they want to make it so it's for the hardcore, but they also would like to see it as a central device in your living room. So it kind of makes me feel like a bit of an Xbox kind of side of things. Xbox, to me anyways, is focused on being your home console for your Netflix, movies, videos, YouTube, Facebook, all this, whatever. It's kind of more of a general console, we'll call it, where Sony is focused first off for the hardcore. They're a system for games, and that's what they're focused on, but then they also allow you to watch your Netflix, the YouTubes, all that other kind of stuff, and enjoy more of a wider experience. Than not only can you get games, but you can get everything else that's in it as well. They've redesigned the L2 and R2 buttons on the controller, which I think was a much needed addition. You can't fault players for wanting to join the Xbox side for that R2, or I guess what they call it, left trigger and right trigger, right? I have an Xbox, but very seldom do I play it. I do enjoy it for some of the exclusivity that they have for their games, but my main focus is obviously going for the PlayStation myself. Now, with the redesign of the controller, they've also implemented a headset jack, which is much appreciated and much needed, I think, as far as building a community for the PlayStation players themselves. They've also added a speaker to the bottom-ish center of the controller, and an extension port. Now, I'm not too sure what the extension port is. I would assume for charging purposes, and who knows? Remember they have that accessory you can put on your PlayStation 3 controller, the DualShock 3, for texting. Maybe something on that line. Not too sure. They said they're also going to package every console with a headset. Finally, taking a tip from Microsoft. Now everyone can talk to everybody, especially when it comes to a game like Ghost Recon, where it is a team-based game. And I don't know how many times I've said this, you need to communicate. So when you're online, those who have the headset fit in perfectly. Those who don't just get bombarded with other crap because no one wants to play with those guys because no one can talk to anybody. So some days I like to not play with anybody who has a headset, but then I'm playing a single-player stuff. So I'm not focusing on the multiplayer in that case. If you're online, you need to have a headset. Now Sony's listening to everybody and is allowing everyone to finally communicate, which is nice. Very, very nice. They also added a light bar, which communicates with the eye. Now, I'm hoping the eye comes with the console as well. So the console comes with, obviously, a controller, and now they've added the headset. So I would assume, because the controller communicates with it, they will add the camera as well. Here's hoping, fingers crossed, most definitely. That light bar communicates with the camera. So your light bar on the controller will light up. It will indicate as to which player you are. So red will be player 1, blue will be player 2, so forth and so on. As well as it will add a couple extra features, which I thought were kind of cool. I don't know about you guys, but I typically like to play where it's in a darker area. You don't want to be lit up. My TV gets a little glare here and there, so I tend to have the lights out. So when you're playing with the PlayStation 4, now with that light bar, what they've actually indicated is it can change colors to change the mood of the tone of the game, we'll say. So if you're in like a... Well, I heard one conversation going on where if you're playing, say, Journey, and you're in like the dark blue area, your controller turns blue and changes your mood to more of a somber kind of feel, right? And then when you burst out into the open sand, if the color brightens up, it kind of helps enlighten that mood a little bit too. So that's kind of cool that they can play with. A lot of neat little features that they're starting to come out with. It'll also act like a muzzle flash too. So when you're shooting off your gun, this thing might like little bursts and stuff. That's kind of cool. Like a lot of little things I'm really starting to find that they're focusing on with the PlayStation 4 that are just going to fine-tune my experience that little bit further for me. So definitely looking forward to that. What they've also indicated too is that the hardware itself will take care of a lot of extra features that the developers won't have to. Going back to the controller briefly though, now currently with the PlayStation 3 we have to plug our controllers in, leave the system on to charge it. Because of the hardware design now, we can just plug our controller in, shut the system off, let it go to sleep, and it's no longer necessary to worry about having the system on at all times. So everything charges in the background, kind of like how it's now able to download in the background.
The supply point is secure and available for resupply.
Now I want to touch briefly on the new camera, the redesign of this new camera, the dual color cameras, which is focused on 1280 by 800 resolution. And it has its own dedicated port, we'll call it. It's not a USB slot, which is nice. So now it no longer takes up that USB slot. With the redesign of the PlayStation 3, we went from 4 USB slots down to 2. And I know from my own experience, half of mine, which is only 2 now, gets one used all the time because I have my headset plugged in. So if I'm charging a controller using my headset, now I can't use the PlayStation Eye. So to no longer worry about that would be nice. Maybe they'll put 4 ports on the back of the system so I don't have everything sticking out of the front of the system too. Who knows? But they are definitely listening to a couple other little tweaks here and there. A couple things they focused on with the new camera is walkthrough videos you can do as well. So no longer do I have to use my own capture device like we're currently doing now, with everything being uploaded to the Ustream channel that they're coming out with. I'm curious to see how that goes. I wish it was YouTube. Unfortunately, it's their own service. So we'll see what happens. But they've talked about doing walkthrough videos. You can taunt in your camera in kill cams, which is A, going to piss people off, in my opinion. And B, if it's friends, it's going to be funny. So there's two sides to this, right? if I kill somebody, I can taunt all I want, but they don't actually hear me because I'm communicating with my own team. Now, through the camera, I can make them matter? Does that make sense? Like, do you really want to tick other people off? You're in it to have fun, first off. So the idea, I think, is cool, but pissing people off, I don't think is all that kind of fun, in my opinion. I'm just there to have fun, to play the game with some friends and joke around, have a good time. But in order to go in for a kill cam after I've taken you out and then rub it in your face, I don't know if that's exactly necessary. But still, once again, a cool idea. We'll see what happens. Now, I am curious, guys, with the PlayStation 4 just around the corner, and games like Assassin's Creed 4, Watch Dogs, where they've told us that they're going to be on current gen plus next gen. So what do you do now? Do you buy them for current gen, or do you hold off and wait to buy it for next gen? Like myself, I have full intention of getting the PlayStation 4, which I know Assassin's Creed 4 will be on the PlayStation 4, which will entail probably have extra features, better graphics, hopefully better online play, all these extra little features. So I'm not buying it for current gen. I'm going to buy it for next gen. So leave me a comment in the section below, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. Where do you think you're spending your money now? Are you holding off? Are you holding off on some of the games that are even coming out now? I know Grand Theft Auto is coming out. I was talking to some guys at EB Games. There is a lot of pre-orders on that already. I know Splinter Cell's coming in August. There is Beyond Two Souls, I think is in October now. So, like, if everything's right there at the tip of the PlayStation 4 launch and these current gen games, as much as I want to play them, I also want to get stuff on the new system. So how much money do you have to focus on? Okay, let's all spend, what, $400 or $500 on the PlayStation 4, and then you want me to buy current gen games or buy next gen games. My money can only go so far, right? Like, I'm just a regular guy with a regular job, and my wallet's no different than anybody else. I got to spend my money where I feel kind of fits my needs. So, where's everybody else spending their money? Are you guys holding off? Or are you just going, you know what, screw it. I want this game, I want this game, I want that game. I'm buying them now. And then when next gen comes, are you holding off on the PS4? Are you waiting to hear what they have to say about the next Xbox? I know I'm curious to see what Microsoft is going to do. Now that they've had time to sit on the Sony event, they've been sitting on this, what, since February now? So, you know, they've had time to think. Is that enough time for them to redesign some of their aspects to go, crap, I never thought of this, or I never thought of that? Should we maybe implement this now into our new Xbox because Sony is doing this? So, they can't redesign the whole system, but I'm sure they can tweak a couple things here or there, right? Definitely curious to see where everybody's spending their money. I know a lot of people right now with the rumor of Xbox, the next Xbox being online connectivity at all times, is ticking a lot of people off, and they're saying, well, screw that. I'm now a PlayStation 4 owner. So, we'll see where the next battle lies. Once again, guys, I just want to say thank you for watching. I'm going to try and get back into the commentaries here a lot more. Minimum once a week. I know I've been away for a while, so I'll try and keep that out on a regular basis. I'll be hooking up. Right now, I'm really focused on a lot of the single-player games. Trying to catch up. I got a pretty good backlog. So, like I said, trying to get Sniper 2 done for the review. Booker should have our review of Tomb Raider up here shortly. So, as always, guys, I just want to say thanks again. Thanks for sticking with us. Check out our website. It's constantly evolving. There's lots of stuff going on. We have definitely a few things in the works I'd love to talk about, but I can't right now. So, once those come into fruition, I will definitely let you know what's going on there, too. So, once again, thanks, guys. I am Cutter28 with 4 Next Level Gamers, and I'll catch you the next level. I'm out.
Deploying smoke. Set the data has been secured. We have one. At a shore.